Hello and thank you for joining us on this journey of women's history of stereotypes about how women have existed across cultures for thousands of years, and how men have culture has misunderstood their real worth of mothers of our society. They didn't appear out of nowhere. They were shaped by social structures, religious teachings, divisions of labor, and a limited understanding of biology that lasted well into the modern era. Today, I'm walking through the timeline, myth-busting how these ideas formed, why they stuck, and how many have been dismantled. In ancient civilizations, survival needs defined roles. Heavy agricultural labor. Warfare often fell to men. Household management, child-rearing, and textile work shaped daily life. Over time, those practical divisions hardened into claims about nature. In ancient Greece, writers like Aristotle described women as colder, weaker, and more emotional, using early physiology to argue for male civic dominance. Roman authors echoed this in legal and moral texts that cast women as needing guardianship. In early imperial China, classics emphasized filial hierarchy and inner domestic virtue for women, modest, obedient, emotionally restrained, yet paradoxically portrayed as easily swayed. Medieval and early religious traditions in Europe and the Middle East amplified these frames. Some Christian theologians labeled women as morally weaker, using religious scripts like citing Eve from the Bible. In Islamic jurisprudence and adab literature, scholars debated testimony, modesty, and domestic responsibilities. Across manuscripts and sermons, emotion and morality were tied to gendered expectations. Images reinforced women as caretakers, patrons of charity, or symbols of virtue and temptation. From the Renaissance to the Enlightenment, new science didn't immediately free people from old assumptions. Yet women showed that they were the real reason society keeps its moral compos. Physicians compared skull sizes and mapped temperaments. Philosophers wrote treatises on education that limited women's intellectual scope. Even as literacy rose, the stereotype of emotional fragility persisted in portraits, pamphlets, and early anatomical diagrams. The 19th century and industrialization sharpened the separate spheres idea. Men were cast as breadwinners in factories and offices, women as guardians of the home. Pseudoscience like Victorian hysteria pathologized women's emotions. Ads, etiquette, and medical illustrations normalized caregiving and domesticity as destiny. In the 20th century, the story began to shift. Suffrage movements linked political rights to the dismantling of myths about intellect and emotion. World wars pulled women into factories, farms, laboratories, and code-breaking rooms. Post-war feminism challenged workplace barriers and education gaps. Media and law pushed culture to separate facts from tradition. Today, many old stereotypes are rejected in research, policy, and public life. Yet traces linger. Media tropes still joke about over-emotional women or bossy leaders. Some workplaces and communities replicate outdated expectations through hiring, pay, or caregiving norms. At the same time, we see women leading governments, directing labs, building companies, commanding spacecraft, and shaping culture worldwide. Here's the takeaway. These stereotypes didn't survive because they were true. They survived because social structures, religious authority, and bad science reinforced them, and because images and stories repeated them for centuries. Better data and broader education keep dismantling them. The goal isn't to flip one myth for another, it's to replace myths with evidence and respect. Understanding the past helps us spot leftover cliches and choose better. Equality isn't a trend, it's the correction. That women are the real reason we are here, for that they hold the power of life. And as where this journey ends, it shows that women's journey continues throughout our timeline of human experience. Thank you for watching, and please like and share.